All right, I got it set in there, and it's actually heavy enough to hold it down in the water. Thank goodness, because I definitely forgot the cast iron weights. Show you starting this up here quick. There's just a little bit of ice in there now, which ain't that big a deal. I'm just gonna start it up just to show you guys. Start out by cracking this open. So it's got just above a drip there. Put my phone here. And then I'm gonna rip up sheets of paper here and just drip them down in there. I drop them down in there, let that oil kind of coat it a little bit. And then I just take a piece of paper here, roll it up a little bit. I got another one here I'll use for the chimney pipe. But set my phone back up here. I'm gonna slow that down to more of just a drip now. I'll show you the drip here in a second. Get this fire burning on this stick or this piece of paper here, and drop that down in there. It's gonna light that oil on fire, and the other sheets of paper there. I shut that drip down quick. You can see the smoke coming back up this place right here now. So what I'm doing now is getting ready to do the same thing on the chimney side. I don't know if that paper was lit enough or not. I might have to grab another sheet of paper. I don't know if that paper was burning. It doesn't look like it. So I'm gonna crack this open just a little bit. So guys, it's got a steady drip. Now I'm gonna go get another sheet of paper so I can drop it down here again. Be right back. All right, so I got another piece of paper. This one loosely wrapped. The other one I think might have been a little too tight. Smoke is still coming up here. Kind of hard to see. You can see that flames just kind of coming straight back up. I'm gonna light this and drop it down this chimney again, and then I'll show you here in just a second what happens to that flame. All right, now that piece is going good. So now if you can see that flame, try to zoom in here. You can probably hear it too. The flame's going sideways. And there's actually, you can feel the air coming in, but here, listen. You hear it. So I turned the oil up. And you just regulate this fire by just adjusting this. But right about there is about where I have it set, give or take, for about 170 degrees. That flame was just, it's pulling across there. It's pulling across there and drawing the smoke up here. A little hard to see it now, but during the daylight, bright as it is, but there's no smoke coming out of here. There's no heat coming out of here. So this will all stay nice and cool, which I'm hoping it does for these plastic fittings. I got that set up to where it pretty much zips straight down that pipe. So then you can cover this up. Wire it on there just like so. It'll still draw air in there while it's running. The only tricky thing about these is that you got to make sure you have enough oil to keep a fire going, but not too much that it's just roaring out. If you don't have enough in there and it burns out, then you come back and your bottom tank's just full of oil. You light it on fire, then it'll just roar out. I mean, it'll burn until the oil is burnt out of there. But it'll be really hot and you'll be boiling your water. That's why the tank is small. You don't want a big tank. You wouldn't want to set this up for like a 55-gallon barrel. Because if it did burn out, you'd have a potential of overfilling that, and then you have oil in your water. But I figured I'd show you guys lighting it up. I said it ain't too hard as long as you get that second piece of paper burning good, drop it down in there. And then it'll start drawing that smoke out there and heat that chimney pipe up. That heat will just keep pulling that smoke out this side. This should work. This one might have to run it for a while. Get the ice out when you do have ice, but I said, if you can see, we're a long ways from the house and there's no electricity down here. And I said we'd come down. If I come over and bring feed over for the horses and stuff, we'd break up some ice. And always Dad comes down, has to break ice open, or if they're drinking, they'll have a hole where there's a spot where they can get their head down in there and drink water out of, and he'll just pour hot water down there to keep the ice melted. But he's got to do that a couple times a day to keep him fresh water. I'm gonna pull some of this ice out of here and some of that hay that's floating around on the top now. But I said, here's the stand from the old where you had it set up. Had the tank set on top of this to be able to keep a little wick system underneath of here. It's actually upside down. It was set up the other way, but I set it this way to stand on there. That was version 1 of trying to keep the water thawed out, and it didn't do so well. It'd either be too windy to blow the wick out, or it would be not aerated enough that it would just smoke itself out. Version 2 is still sitting here on the ground. I said it was a nice concept. I can get it set up here. But the intake pipe needed to be bigger. I'd have to add more intakes to be able to get this to work. Maybe even add more of a chimney pipe. But this was wood. We put wood in there. Light the wood on fire. Be able to aerate it or keep it thawed out, but keep that air coming in. But we didn't have a big enough intake. Could have added more intakes on it. I never did bring it home because it still leaked around the lid portion. I said it would have worked, but surface area to be able to heat it up was only around the outside edge. Surface area on that to be able to heat that water up is a lot bigger, so we'll be able to extract more heat out of it and be able to keep that water hopefully get that water up to temp faster. I said this was an okay idea, but I said because the water level was still below the top here, even when it was in there, the water could never actually overflow into that. But I said you only have the heat around the outside edge. You still had a lot of heat on the top that you're missing out on to be able to heat that water up. So I guess this is 3.0, not 2.0, but I said I'm sure Dad will be making a video here soon. Once it gets cold, it's supposed to be getting cold again this next week. Not sub-zero temps, but overnight it's down to single digits probably, but during the day it's low to mid 30s, so there'll be a lot of ice forming. It's been going for 5 or 6 minutes here, and it's still got a fire. Probably needs to be a little bit more of a drip like that. It was getting close to be burning out, not quite, but it was burning low, so it probably wasn't putting out a lot of heat. Be a little bit of trial and error to see what the drip needs to be set at, and I'll probably need to get different fittings. The bomb guards didn't have any. I'll need to get some metal ones, whether brass or steel, but get rid of those plastic ones. I'll just bring over a couple of jugs of pre-mixed oil. Pre-mixed oil and fuel, and be able to keep this full. I don't know if it's a 2-gallon, 2.5-gallon tank, but I'll bring some more jugs over so we have jugs sitting here so we can just add some. And I'm glad it fits and holds it down. So I'm sure Dad will be making some videos here soon showing it thawing out and how long it takes, maybe how much ice is in there. But I'm gonna shut it down and head home, but at least these two will have some fresh water at all times. Make it a lot easier on Dad since he's nice enough to do chores. They sure do waste a lot of hay though. But thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.